Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Robbie. I play guitar in the Red Hot Chili Jam. We're a New Jersey-based Chili Peppers tribute band. We had a few requests for my pedal board. You guys were asking for a full rig rundown, so here we go. Let's jump right in. Okay, let's start with the guitar. This is a 2012 American Standard Fender Stratocaster. It is pretty much stock, except for the pickups. These are Seymour Duncan pickups in here. I think these two are SSL 3s, and then this one is a little bit hotter. This is the SSL 5. I think that's the model. I'm pretty sure it's been a few years now. So just one more quick point on the guitar. I want to say if you're looking to get Frusciante tones, this is probably the single most important piece of the whole rig. You can have as many pedals as you want, but ultimately you really need a single coil. It can be any kind of guitar. Obviously John plays a Fender Strat, so that's what I play. All right, so next up in the rig is the amplifier. I am using a Roland JC40. Now, a lot of the John Frusciante fans are gonna notice that this is not a Marshall Silver Jubilee, obviously, so you might already be thinking, well, how can you get a John Frusciante tone without a Marshall Silver Jubilee? My argument is that the gain is coming from the pedals. We'll get into the pedals in a second, but just real quick, the amp is super dry. There's no distortion in it at all. The speakers are a little smaller. They are 10-inch speakers rather than 12-inch like you would see on a traditional Roland JC120. What I like about it is that it gives a little bit more punch. And again, I get all my gain staging and effects and all of that from the pedals. So just a quick note on the settings. I actually don't have it favored in any one way. Every knob is just straight up treble, middle, bass, they're all just right at 12. For the moment you've all been waiting for, and that is the pedal board, or the pedal boards, I should say. Now you might be wondering, why do I have two boards and not one? Well, I sometimes wonder the same thing, but the real reason is I started out with the Pedal Train Classic Junior. I realized I needed a lot more space once we started up the Chili Pepper band because John uses like tons of pedals. Got myself a bigger board. Then I realized I still need more space, so I luckily didn't sell the first one, and now I have two boards. All right, so let's dive into the signal chain. I come out of the guitar, I enter over here into the Boss Chromatic Tuner. There's nothing to say about the Boss TU3, it's the best tuner pedal. I've had it for over 10 years. Then I go into a noise gate, helps out with the single coil. That was a gift from my guitar teacher, Martin, so shout out to Martin if you're watching. Then a compressor, which I leave always on. My settings are basically straight up. They're taped right now, so you can't see it, but they're basically both at 12 o'clock. Then an envelope filter, which is the Earthquaker Spatial Delivery. It's just like a Q-Tron. I use it for little bits like Danny California. Then I go into the Ibanez WH10 wah pedal. That's the V3 that I'm using. I really love the V3 a lot. I know some people give it criticism. I think it's great, personally. If you're trying to sound like John Frusciante, that is one of the most essential pedals to own. All right, let's do a quick demonstration of the wah pedal. I set it just real quick. I have it like halfway up the level thing, and I set it to the true bypass. I don't have the buffer in. Sounds like this. Then the RC booster by Xotic Effects. That's like a preamp boost pedal that I leave always on for the entire show. Now, I was saying before that I don't use a Marshall Silver Jubilee. Instead, I use the Roland Jazz Chorus Totally Dry. A lot of my grit and my hair is coming from that pedal just by being on for the whole show. Next up, and one of the more important pedals for me, is the Greer Lightspeed. That's where I get a lot of my grit, a lot of my dirt. I leave this on for the majority of the show as well, and these two stacked together blend really nicely. into a Boss Blues driver. That's the newest pedal. I really like that thing a lot. I'll use that for slightly crunchier parts, like say something off Mother's Milk. After that, go into the Boss Turbo Distortion DS2. If you want to sound like John Frusciante, you need a Boss DS2. Actually, I'd even say the Boss DS2 is the single most important pedal to sound like John. Then the second board is all the modulation. Well, first of all, it starts with an EQ. The EQ is there to just help glue together the drives a little bit, and I can get a little more punch without raising the gain. So it's a very subtle change, and we'll go into it in a second. Then I go into this Earthquaker Aurelius, I think is how you say it, Aurelius. I use it for like freaky, weird stuff. Like This Is the Place I use it on. Then I do the Warm Audio CE1. I forget what this one is actually called, but it's like the new one. It's by Warm Audio. That's meant to be a Boss CE1 clone. I really like it a lot. I did a full demo of it in another video, which we'll link right here. JHS Harmonic Trem. Then I go into an MXR Carbon Copy Deluxe. I only use that for slapback delay, so particularly on Don't Forget Me or Charlie, anything with a slapback. And then finally, this is the Line 6 DL4 MKii. It's the newer one. I got the blacked out version because it's a lot sexier looking. I use mainly dotted delays for that. There is also a slapback in there too if I wanted to do like crazy stuff, but so all the delays, modulation are over here. You'll notice I also don't really use any reverb. I would rather use delay, or particularly a slapback delay, to get my reverb effect. So I'm gonna start by showing you the dry amp. There's no pedals on right now except for the gate and the EQ, but everything's running into the EQ, so just imagine the EQ is like part of the amp, practically. Here's the dry tone. Now I'm going to engage the compressor, the RC booster, and the Greer Lightspeed, and this is my bass level clean tone. A lot more grit, a lot more bite. Now for the verse parts of that song, I will use the Earthquaker envelope filter. So there's an idea of the clean tone. Now if I want to go to something a little dirtier, I will go to the Boss Blues driver. I'm going to disengage the Greer Lightspeed for now, and that sounds like this. So again, to go back. Okay, and then if I want something a little more driven, I will use the Boss Blues Driver, and I'm going to disengage the Greer Lightspeed, and that'll give me the mother's milk kind of thing, which is like this. And if I want even more bite, I can just put back in the Greer Lightspeed. Now for solos and leads and choruses, I will go to the Boss DS2, which sounds like this. Alright, next up is the Earthquaker Aurelius. I use that for weird chorus effects, kind of like on This Is the Place. Sounds like this. Chorus I could do. Then for the main chorus sound, we're going to go with the Warm Audio CE1. Sounds like this. If I want a less wobbly chorus sound, I'll switch it from the vibrato mode over to the chorus mode. Here's vibrato. So it's a very subtle difference, but depending on like how forward I want to be in the song, I'll switch from one to the other. So just again to demonstrate that, I can do a song like Soul Squeeze. Or on vibrato. Of the wobble is a little bit slower. Wow, 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 wow versus versus That's the main difference. It's subtle, but it does kind of matter. All right, next up we got the JHS Harmonic Tremolo. It sounds kind of like this. I use it for wet sand. Okay, then next up we're going to go into the delay section, starting with the MXR Carbon Copy Deluxe. It's just a slapback, so here's without. Here's with. So that's really good for a song like Don't Forget Me. The true way to do Don't Forget Me is to have the slapback first, and then that feeds into an eighth note delay, so that would sound like this. Alright guys, so that's the rig. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions on any of the pedals or the amp, or you want to hear a certain song or whatever, feel free to drop a comment down below. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe. Follow us on social media at Red Hot Chili Jam. We'll put a link somewhere in the video. We got a show coming up on December 20th at Mrs. Riley's Pub in High Bridge, New Jersey. And then we're going to be playing all around the North Jersey area in 2025, so keep your eyes peeled. We'll be coming to a town near you.